There we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friendly Show. I am your host and friend, Lee. Okay, so I am so excited for this episode. I do feel like I say that every single week, but this one is so good and so needed and so timely. So, what we're going to be talking about today is radical compassion, as we've been doing all month, but through the lens of partnerships. And going into the holidays, I think this is probably like one of the hardest parts of the holidays. And so I have done a little something different. I'm going to talk to you kind of about it the way we normally do. But then I am also going to be sharing some like real tangible things that we can be doing in the moment to have a better holiday when it comes to our partnerships that we're having with our family and with our friends and everybody around us. I think I told you guys that in book club we are doing a book right now called Whatever Arises, Love That, and it is such a good book. I highly recommend it. If you haven't read it, pick it up, read it. It definitely is going to be like a textbook for me. I know that I need to read this a couple more times because it's a little bit deep. I didn't think it was going to be, but it is a little bit deep and it is so good. So it's talking a lot about ego, and it looks at ego very differently than we've kind of been taught about it. And oh, here we go. Oh, Britt. What's that? Why? Yeah, I know it. Oh, she's watching. Okay, so you guys. Okay, so first I want to show you that Britt is here. Hello, Britt. Good evening from over here. So you're over on YouTube. That's awesome. And my sister is watching. So hello, Jennifer. And she just said, take your scarf off. This is what it looks like. She showed me a picture of myself. But I love it. I love the scarf and it keeps me warm, but it looks better without it. Okay. So and Mel says, I'm on, my friend. Well, hello, you guys. I'm so happy that you're here. So, okay. So let us see what is, Mel says, that's funny. I'm on Twitch and Britt is on YouTube. I know, that's hysterical. Okay. Well, this is great. The reason why Britt is on YouTube instead of on Twitch is because I reached out to him and was like, hey man, if I in January switch over just to YouTube, would you come over? And he said yes. And so that is what we're going to be doing in January. I wasn't actually going to talk about it until a little bit later, but I'm going to hop on right now and just, or not hop on, but tell you guys about it right now. So in the new year, I am going to be streamlining things so then I can show up better for you guys, but also show up better for me. When I'm streaming everywhere, you're not able to do everything for everybody, right? And in the new year, I really want to be doing things that are as peaceful and as aligned as possible. And so I'm only going to be streaming on YouTube in January and going forward. And it's a good platform. But I think what's also going to end up happening is you guys are going to be able to have more conversation inside because you're all going to be on the same platform, which is going to be kind of cool. And then you don't have to wait for the comments to come up for me to come up with them. You guys will be able to talk within the one platform, which will be cool. And so we're going to be doing that. We're also going to be doing a different type of podcast in January, which I'm really excited about because I was listening to my trailer this weekend and I was like, yep, this was my intention from episode 1 2 years ago. And I never really did it. What I did was I did one episode a week, this one. And what my intention, what I wanted to do was have a mini episode where it's just a recorded audio version and where I do this part where I'm going to be like giving tactical tips and tricks and things that we're talking about. And then I was going to have another live version where we were going to talk about that episode, have conversation. And what it is turned into is half and half. So, first 15 minutes we do the podcast version, and then the last 15 minutes we do the talk. And so in the new year, we're going to do a 15-minute version. I'm going to shoot for like 22 minutes. It's my favorite number. So I'm going to shoot for 22 minutes. And then on Wednesday night, we're going to stick to Wednesday night, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, or whatever the equivalent is for you. And we're going to talk about that episode. And we're still going to do lightning round questions, all the things that we love, but it is going to be solely talking with you guys. So I'm really excited about that shift. We're going to do that starting January 5th will be the launch of the podcast episode, and then the 7th will be the actual live version. So really excited about that. Anyway, let us get to what we're talking about this week. And we're talking about partnerships specifically through the holiday. And we're still going to be talking about radical compassion because that's what the theme is for this month. But I wanted to kind of put something out there that I think we all need to hear. We need to understand that radical compassion is not putting up with disrespect. It's not staying longer than you feel like you can handle. It's not white knuckling it through conversations or through parties or through things. It's not over explaining yourself or explaining yourself repeatedly. And it's also not performing peace. It's not Radical compassion is not pretending to be peaceful for the sake of other people. It is really where it starts is us figuring out what's required for me to stay regulated, kind, and intact. How can I show up with love? And if we look at everything through the lens of love, it will radically change the way that we show up, and it'll radically change the way people show up for us. And so that's one of the things I started talking about this book that I love, that it's talking about how we really do need to come at everything with love, especially the way that we talk to ourselves and about ourselves. And one of the quotes out of the book, and I'm not going to give you the actual verbatim quote, but it's similar, is if you would not talk to a child, like, the saying, like, speak to yourself the way you would speak to a child, fine. But he says it like, if you would not talk to a child in need, then you should not talk to yourself that way. And I will say, you should also not talk to anybody else that way. We need to start talking to each other and to ourselves as if we're talking to a child that is hyperventilating and having an episode. We need to be able to nurture them, because when we are overwhelmed, when we're frustrated, when we're angry, when, Uncle Len comes up to us at Christmas and like, what do you think about everything that's in the news? What's your take on it? When they're coming at us with this kind of intensity, we can look at it like a 5-year-old that's throwing a tantrum, because we're all doing the exact same thing. We're all looking for safety. We're all trying to make sense of this world. We're all trying to take the sensory that's coming, all the senses that are coming in at us. If we're not able to handle it, then when we're children, we don't have the vocabulary to be able to speak about it. And so we throw a tantrum. When we're older, we have a vocabulary, but we don't use it properly. And so we lash out, we project, we do all of these things. We get angry with people, we get frustrated with people. And really all we're doing is looking for safety. All we're doing is looking for love, and we're maybe doing it the wrong way, but we're just trying to help ourselves. And so the author of this book kind of looks at, if you kind of look at the world that everybody is trying to heal, everybody is on a spiritual journey, whether they are trying to be on a spiritual journey or not. Everybody is on a spiritual journey to heal and to get rid of all of this debris that we have kind of built up in our body and in our nervous system. And if we can look at people and situations from this lens, it makes it a lot easier to be compassionate with them, to show them love, to have more peace, and to be able to come at conversations without trying to be right, without trying to make them wrong. We can come at them as if they are a 5-year-old that is having a tantrum and you want to try to help them. So, saying that, I also want you to understand that it's also not our responsibility to fix, help, or heal anybody. That is their responsibility. So coming at all of the parties and the Christmas gatherings and everything that we're going to be coming at, if we can look at it in that way, that everybody is on a journey to heal and they just need more love, then I think it's going to be easier for us to handle Uncle Lou and Aunt Fran and Cousin Marla, you know? So here's some of the things that we really want to try that will work if we're able to do it. So the compassion pause. We've talked about the pause in a lot of different episodes because being able to just stop for a moment and regulate yourself is so powerful. So if Uncle Lou comes at you and is asking you about your opinion on the latest thing that just happened, you don't have to respond. You don't have to react right away, right? You can, before you respond, you can just feel your feet on the ground. That's a grounding exercise where you just feel your feet. Feel it in your socks, feel it in your shoes, feel it on the ground, feel your feet. And that will bring you to yourself instead of out there wanting to give your opinion or say, oh, not again. Why are you always like this? Feel your feet. The next thing you can do is you can exhale longer than you inhale the breath. The reason why we do that is because when we're really anxious and we're really scared and we're in a threatened situation, we're constantly, right? We're inhaling way more than we are exhaling. And if we can exhale, then we tell our brain and our body that we're safe. And so even though Uncle Lou is coming at us, we're actually safe. There's no harm. We feel like we're threatened, but we're not. And so if we can just breathe a couple times, then we can come at this a little differently because we're not going to be reactive, right? And then we can also silently say to ourselves, not vocally, because you don't want to, you don't have to announce this to anybody, but you can just say, this is uncomfortable and I can stay with myself. I don't have to be out there with Uncle Lou. I can be with myself right now. Now, all of this is going to take 30 seconds. Uncle Lou might get really frustrated that you haven't reacted the way you normally react, right? So those 30 seconds might be really uncomfortable for Uncle Lou. They might be. But you know what? Uncle Lou doesn't care if he makes you feel uncomfortable. So you can make him feel uncomfortable for 30 seconds while you just get yourself to a place that you can come at this conversation with love, okay? So that is a big thing. Another thing that I want you, like a reframe or something to think about is especially the people that we're going to be seeing that we only see maybe every Christmas or every 6 months. They are going to be coming at this whole situation. They're going to be looking at you as the 2024 version of yourself, okay? They are going to be looking at you from the grievances that they remember from the last Christmas party. They're going to be looking at you the way that you reacted to certain things, the way that you behaved and the way that you showed up last Christmas. But in the last year, you've probably grown, you've probably changed, you probably react to things differently, but they don't know that. And so when they come to these parties, they're going to be looking at you like 2024 version of you. And you are going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be looking at Uncle Lou like, oh my gosh, it's going to happen again. I know it. And instead, you can come at the party with curiosity and say, I wonder how they're going to be this year. I wonder who's grown. I wonder who's going to be a little bit more calm. I wonder who's going to be more funny. I wonder what people have gone through this year. And if we go through that a little bit differently, we'll be more open to see who people actually are instead of putting them in the box of who they've always been. Okay? So those are two things that we can do. Remember that they are not the 2024 version of themselves. They are something new, and let's look at it with curiosity, and then having that compassionate pause where we can just sit and regulate ourselves, okay? Because co-regulation, where you can kind of like, you can regulate somebody else to a degree only if you're regulated. Okay, only if you're regulated. You won't be able to come at a situation to calm somebody else if you're not calm. Even if you say the right things like calm down, it's not going to work if you're heightened, right? So the other thing, like I was telling you guys in the very beginning about the, everybody's on a healing journey. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, they're impossible, they're always like this, they're so angry, they're so this. Instead of having that, you can silently reframe this that something is really unregulated inside of them, and I don't have to fix it, right? You don't have to make them right. You don't have to make them wrong. You don't have to heal them. You can just be there, and you can view the world, you can view the situation, and you don't necessarily have to engage in it. You don't have to fight. You don't have to argue. You don't have to be right. Okay? So that is a hard thing if you're used to, going in and this is the way that you normally are. Your body's going to naturally go into the way that you normally are. Especially if, I want you to consider, especially if Christmas parties happen at the same house every year. So if you, go to Aunt Fran's for Christmas every year, but you don't really hang out at Aunt Fran's house during the year, the moment you pull up in the driveway or park on the street, your nervous system is already on guard. It's already like, oh, I know what happens when we go to this house. I know what happens when we see people at this house. And so your body already wants you to feel safe. And so it's going to try to protect you. So it's going to be on the lookout for everything that is threatening. And so we need to do a better job of coming at it with love and curiosity, knowing that, you know what, maybe I can show up differently, but only if we're grounded, only if we're able to kind of be a little bit more relaxed and a little bit more loving. The other thing that you can do is you can come up with one boundary phrase. So, sometimes what happens is people will come up to us and they'll react and they'll, have their intensity, and you'll just react the way that you normally do, and you'll kind of meet their level of intensity. And then after, you're like, man, I don't like the way that I showed up, or man, I just wish I would have said something differently. Right now, the people that are going to quote unquote trigger you, right? The people that are going to try to get your goat and get you into the conversation. So right now you can decide how you want to show up. And you can know that if you don't feel like you're going to be able to show up with like unconditional love, radical compassion, you can come up with a phrase that is just like, I'm going to step away for a bit and then step away. But have that on kind of the trigger, on the ready, that if it becomes too much and you feel you're starting to boil up and you're ready to start, having that fight that you normally have ready that you're going to say, I'm going to step away for a bit and then go get a drink or go to the bathroom or go outside or play with the dog or do something. You don't need to explain yourself. You can just walk away. And I can promise you, those people that are always looking for the fight, they'll just look for it for somebody with somebody else, right? They're going to just, their pain body inside of their body is going to look to release that somewhere else. Okay. They're not going to follow you into the bathroom. So just have a boundary, have an exit ready now, and you can start practicing that. And then I want you to, like, between now and the time that you're going to go there, I want you to start looking at who are the people that you anticipate. And I know that we don't want to look at them from 2024, but we know that a lot of people don't change. They can change, and that's what we want to be curious about. But who are the people that are probably going to try to have an argument? And start journaling about that and start thinking about that and start thinking about all the things that you love about that person. So then when you're there, you don't have to be like, okay, show up with love, but how can I? I can't believe that he's arguing about this. I can't believe he sees the world this way. Instead, right now, fill your mind up with all the things that you love about this person. So then when they come at you, you can remember all of that and it'll be easier for you to show up with love. Okay. So let us, that was a lot. And like, we're right here. It's, we've got like 5 or 10 minutes left. So let me open up Chat GPT, you guys, because I want to get, where is it? I want to get the lightning round questions so we can do some of these and we'll see what he has to say. Okay, so here we go. Ooh, okay. These look different. I haven't read them yet, but they're even laid out differently here. So I'm just going to take the first 3. Ooh, what did I just do? I'm just going to take the first 3 and then put them on here. And then we will do it together. This is my favorite part of the show. And what's going to be cool is in January, when we go over to the new format, our whole half hour together is going to be questions and talking and going back and forth, which is going to be really fun. So the first question is, when someone pushes your buttons, what's usually triggered first, your body or your thoughts? That's a good one. The next question is number 2. Let me see if I can copy and paste this. The next question is Control V. What's harder for you right now? Offering compassion or receiving it without guilt? Oh, that's a good one too. I like that. And then this is number 3. And number 3 says, finish this sentence. If I were radically compassionate with myself this holiday season, I would stop. Okay. I like all of this. So if you guys are new to the show, because I see there's more eyeballs than just Britt and Mel, so and Jen. So if you are new, just go ahead and answer one at a time, and then I will bring you up on the show, or your comments up on the show. So you could be listening or watching this in your pajamas, because I'm not going to see your video, but you're going to be here. So number 1 was, when someone pushes your buttons, what's usually triggered first, your body or your thoughts? And Britt says, my thoughts, no contest. Okay, that's good. That's good. For me, I will say my body, because I can immediately feel it inside of my body that like I start getting hot. Depends on how they're triggering me. If I'm offended by something, or if I feel like I need to defend it, or if I'm hurt, I can just feel it inside of my body. But that's good that you know that it's your thoughts, because that's going to be, I don't know. I don't want to say anything is easier to change, but Mel says, my thoughts, then my body reacts. Very interesting. Yeah, mine is always my body first and then my thoughts, but it's interesting that both of you guys are the same way. Okay, and then number 2, what's harder for you right now? Offering compassion or receiving it without guilt. So let's see here. Britt says receiving it without guilt. Mel says neither, but probably receiving without guilt. Really? Neither one of those are really hard for you. That's cool. That's really good. Mine is probably receiving it without guilt. Because I can offer people compassion. Sometimes that's hard for me. But receiving it without guilt, or without thinking like, oh my gosh, do I even deserve it? Which is something I'm working on. And then number 3 is, finish this sentence. If I were radically compassionate with myself this holiday season, I would stop. Okay. So for me, it would be, I would stop needing everything to be done or look good or be perfect. And I'm doing a much better job with it. Given the year that we've had, it's kind of made it easier. But I still do have guilt. Like one of the things is I've been having to kind of like go back and forth with going and seeing my in-laws. I really, really want to go see them, but I also really, really want to protect Jen. I want to make sure that she's not going to get sick, because the things that are out there, guys, like, oh my gosh, I got sick on Friday and it was only 24 hours. And I was like, I don't know that I could have had this for 3 days. And there's a lot of people that are getting really sick and really bad. And so I don't want to do it, but I have this guilt, and I want to be there for the kids, and I want to be there for my in-laws, and I want to be there for, my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law. And Mike is he's so compassionate with me. And he was like, they're going to understand. I understand, like, this is the right thing to do and it's fine, but I still have this guilt. So if I was radically compassionate with myself, I would do a better job with that. And then let's see here. I don't know. Hold on one second, because I still have another comment up there, but for some reason it's not letting me. Here we go. Britt says, I don't know. This is a tough one. Okay, well, think about it. And Mel says, if I were radically compassionate with myself this holiday season, I would stop overanalyzing people and feeling like I'm not included. Oh, that's interesting. I would love to hear more about that one, Mel. And then Britt thought about it a little bit more, and then he said that if he were radically compassionate with himself this holiday season, he would stop worrying. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Okay, here we are. It's 8:00. Here's a good one. Okay, I'm going to just do number 4 just real quick, because this is going to be something that I just want you to think about. You do not need to name names, okay? This is just going to be, I'm going to leave you guys with this one, okay? So I'm not even going to, not putting number 4, because this is not for you to answer. But who do you tend to give the most grace to, and who gets it the least? I want you to think about that. And the person who gets it the least, I want you to think about being able to give it to them more. Okay, I think that's a really good one. And so really thinking about it, kind of like we're trying to, think about the things that we're going to say, how we're going to react, doing all of that now before the holiday, before the party is really important. This is a really good question for you to think about. So next week, we are going to be meeting. Hold on one second. Let me actually see what date it is. It's Christmas Eve. Okay, you guys, we are going to switch it next week, and we are going to switch that. Normally we are Wednesday nights, but we are going to do Tuesday night, same time, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. Hopefully you guys can make it, but I'm not going to make it Christmas Eve, because I want to be able to be with my family, and I want you to be with your family on Christmas Eve. And if you are not going to be with family on Christmas Eve, then you can watch the replay. It'll be here on YouTube, okay? So we're going to do that Tuesday, and we are going to be talking about youthfulness, radical compassion and youthfulness, how those intersect. Britt says, what does he say? Oh, that's an easy one. Mel and then me. Oh, okay. Well, it goes the same way, exactly what I said. I want you to think about that last person who you give it the least and try to give it more. We love you, Britt. I love you, Mel. And thank you for being here. Jen, thank you for being here. I'm glad that I do look better without the scarf, even though I love it. Mel says, love you. And then, oh, who's here? Somebody is here. Let me see. Sorry, I'm late. I went to look at the lights in Tilbury with my granddaughter. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, does it say who this is? It's Jan. Oh, Jan, just in case I don't see you, Merry Christmas. That's so awesome. Very cool. Okay. And Britt says, have a great week. Well, thank you so much, sir. I love you guys so much. If you haven't done so already, come on over to Happy School. We're going to be having the book club is tomorrow at 12:30. I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. This book is so amazing. And I hope to see you in Happy School in between the sessions. And if not, I will see you next Tuesday. Please remember that, next Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. And happy holidays in case I don't see you. Merry Christmas. I love you all.